everyone's attention, please? The date today is June 13, 2016. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start the meeting with invocation by Dean Anderson, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Lancaster. After that, if I can please ask everyone to keep standing and take a moment of silence in memory of the people who died in the Orlando shooting.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we're indeed thankful again for the opportunity, Father, to come and meet and take care of the city's business. We just pray that you guide and direct our council members. We pray, Father, that we do all things in a way that would be pleasing in your sight. For these things we do pray and ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or individual employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address the council, please come forward, write your name and address for the record. Just so that everybody knows, Mr. Frierson and Dr. Clifford will not be here tonight. Please.
Thank you, council members. My name is Brandon Del Toro. I have a business, Paris Family Dental, located on 2331 Lamar. Mr. Godwin called your office today, waiting to hear back from you, but before the recent vote that took place, I was working with Mr. Pickle on some of the flooding issues that we're all aware of.
Can you please bring the mic close to you and speak?
Yes. I was working with Mr. Pickle on some of the flooding issues that have taken place consistently in my offices. The latter half of my property is underwater on a regular basis, more than 50% of the time when it rains. And I was just seeking an update and awareness, one of the council members, to know that, and I have video footage I'd like to give to someone. I don't know who I need to continue this matter with, but that's what I'm here for tonight. Who is it that I would be referred to?
Mr. Godwin.
Mr. Godwin. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nobody else wanting to, yes, Mr. Price.
Take me a minute, I'm sorry. I'm a little slow now. I have the council doing the thing. I wish y'all the best. First off, let me say that I'm happy to see new blood on the council. I'm really happy to see new people on the council.
By the way, this is Reverend Price, if somebody doesn't know.
Oh, okay, thanks a lot. Second, let me say this here. Y'all all invited to the Juneteenth celebration in the park come 18th of June. If you need a ride, please give me a call. Those have my phone number. I'll get you a ride and a drive in a brand new car. You ride a brand new car in the parade if you'd like to come this year in 18th. That'll invite everybody. Please come out and see me, your constituents. Okay, now that'll finish, y'all. I'm back here to tell you about the west side of Paris one more time. Trees, y'all went and bought trees, brand new trees. We had trees growing out of the ground already, right in Paris. We had battle trees, we had trees growing right in the city of town. plant them trees, cause bugging plant them trees right. Y'all spend money I shouldn't spend, I feel like. Anyway, a woman says, if you care to come look at West Paris, please give me a call. Come by and come take a ride with me. I'll see what West Paris looks like. There's corners on there that you can't see around. Please give this man more money so he can just cut this side of town, please. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Blessed.
You can, you can pull up a chair. Yeah, sure. Ma'am, if you can.
I'm sorry. Thought I was taller than that. Now, I'm Betty Vandiver. I live at 2720 Culbertson Street since November of 1976. It's been a water problem. If they don't keep the ditches clean, my garage gets flooded. Well, that's not so bad. I've lived with it, but getting my home flooded is bad. I've had it flooded partially once before. This time, on April the 29th, it came from the front, out the back. Again, on May the 9th, it came through the front, out the back. My yard is washing away from the water. The fence posts are exposed where they are set in the concrete. Across the street, you have a wide 2-culvert ditch, comes under the street into a 1-culvert ditch. And there's just no way that 1-culvert ditch can carry all the water that a 2-culvert ditch puts out on me. And I'm just asking that you correct this problem. It's cleaning the ditches are fine, but it's not going to keep the houses from flooding. That ditch has to be enlarged. And I'd appreciate y'all giving it top priority. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Linda Christian. I live at 3305 Ridgeview, and I am just wanting to say something about the condition of Church Street. I know there's been a lot of infrastructure work done underneath that, and it's been torn up for a long time, and it's been in bad shape for many years. And that is one of the main streets that people come in from the south of town. And thanks to the Paris Visitors and Convention Bureau, we have a lot of visitors coming in all the time, and that is a pathetic street for them to have to drive down. I don't know if that's in the works to be repaved, but South Main is wonderful. It's smooth. In fact, I go out of my way to drive on South Main instead of on Church Street because it's so bad. So I'd just like to see that addressed.
Thank you, Ms. Christian. If there's nobody else wanting to speak, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We move to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any questions or concerns about the consent agenda?
Yes, planning and zoning.
You want to take that out, Mrs. Lancaster?
I would like to take that out.
Go ahead, please.
I'm concerned about some of the wording on planning and zoning, and I want to be assured that our citizens in the downtown historical area are not being precluded from storing necessary items that they are working with, they are selling, they are repairing with, as was stated once before. Is there anyone here who can assure me that that's not going to happen? Are people going to be able to continue to use their building? I mean, it is a personal property issue to me. If it's their building, they should be able to store the things that they need in it.
Was this addressed at the last planning and zoning commission meeting?
It was addressed the last one and the time before. It was worded differently. I just am making sure.
Well, and I wasn't at P and Z, so I'm not sure if we're talking about something specific or not.
Okay.
The only thing that's changed since I've been here is 2 or 3 meetings ago, council approved some changes in zoning for downtown. That, for example, warehousing is not an allowed use.
Okay.
So that can't be your primary use. But as far as storage, there's no restrictions on storage, that you can't store certain things outdoors.
Because I have had
flammable materials
numerous calls from across the board from different people.
Are they hearing from us, or?
They are concerned that that is going to happen, that they will not be able to. I have one gentleman who is repairing his building. He's doing the work himself, and so as he acquires a bathtub or whatever that's going to go in the building, it's stored in the downstairs area. I want to make sure that we're not keeping people from doing that.
It's certainly news to me if we are. I don't know why we would. So I don't know how this has come up, so I don't know.
Well, they're concerned about it, so they've gotten word some way or another.
I'll track it down and see
If you would track it down.
yeah, if our folks are telling
Because
people
I
something.
don't think we need to stand in the way of anybody who wants to improve their building.
Absolutely not, especially downtown. So I don't know, but I'll find out what that's
Okay,
about.
will you get back
Sure,
with me
sure.
and assure me that we're not passing anything that says we can't do that?
So do you want this item taken out this time?
I
or-
believe so. Let's take that out until we get assurance.
Okay. So everybody agrees to take this item out for this time?
Sure.
Okay. Barring that, any other questions by any council members on the consent agenda? No. I'll take a motion on that item, please, then.
I make a motion, we accept it with that being removed.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We go on to the regular agenda. There's a request if we can please move item number 15 up. So I'll make a motion to move item 15 up, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 15 is discuss a request from Trail de Paris Steering Committee regarding the procedure for transfer of funds collected through the city water billing account and provide direction to the staff. Mr. Anderson, do you want to speak, or Mr. Godwin, do you want to speak?
I can, so Gene doesn't have to jump up, unless you just want to jump up. It's a pretty simple thing. We have 4 different causes, so to speak, that we allow people to make donations to on their water bills, and one of those is the trail. And the way it was originally set up was it was just donations to the trail. And so when something was needed for the trail, Parks Department typically would be the ones who, because they're charged with maintaining the trail, they would spend some of that money. And just recently we had some minor maintenance or repairs and so forth. But there is an organization, the Trail de Paris Steering Committee, and they would like to get the money sent directly to them, which is the way we do it, Keep Paris Beautiful. And so that's their request, and I know some of them are here tonight to make that request. I don't think we have a preference either way. As long as the money's being spent on the trail, it's being spent on the trail, and that's what people are donating it for, I think. So.
Any questions by the council? I think it's perfectly fine if you're in agreement, as long as there's no other overheads attached to it,
Right.
as you've written down.
Right. Okay.
You need a motion on this?
Yeah. Since
Okay,
it's,
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. We'll move back to the regular agenda now. Item number 10 is discuss and act an ordinance disannexing pre-tax of land, 1.16 acre, 2.45 and 160.7 acres for a total of 164.31 acres in size located in southeastern corner of Chisholm Abstract number 175 and northeastern corner of Bullard Abstract number 70, which is 0.75 miles northwest of intersection of FM Highway 79 and Northwest Loop 286, with the 1.16 acre and 160.7 acre tract being located along the north side of FM Highway 79 and the 2.45 acre tract being located along the south side of FM Highway 79 and consisting of a dressing ranging from 3194 FM Highway 79 to 3930, FM Highway 79 of City of Perez, Lamar County, Texas. So this is the second reading of,
We've had 2 public hearings, and you can act on the ordinance this
Okay.
evening.
so without going any further on this, if all the council members are in agreement, I'd like to take a motion on this item. To approve? Second? Any further discussion on this item? No. All in favor? Anyone opposed? No. Motion carries. Item number 11 is conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Franz Thiessen on behalf of Lee LaRue trustee estate of Billy LaRue for a change in zoning from Commercial District C and Single Family Dwelling District Number 2 SF2 to a Commercial District C with specific use permit. 55 self-storage mini warehouses on lot number 10 of City Block 316 located at 3380 Northeast Loop 286. Mr. Godwin?
Very quickly, this request for self-storage mini warehouse, and also with a fitness gym, it does require a special use permit for this particular type of use in this particular location. The staff recommends approval. Planning and Zoning Commission, I believe unanimously, also recommended approval. And so that's really all we have tonight, is to conduct the public hearing and then take action.
Okay, so the public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is welcome to come write their name and address for the record. If there is nobody wanting to speak for and against, the public hearing is now closed. Action item for this time, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How does the council want to proceed? Any discussion on this item first of all? No.
I make a motion we approve.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 12, conduct a public hearing and discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Wayne Brown on behalf of Gerald and Lisa Fulton for a change in zoning from Agricultural District A to Multifamily Dwelling number 2, MF2 on tract 63A208E, Crow Survey located at 4310 Pine Mill Road. Mr. Godwin?
Yes, sir. This is an ag district. Ag district typically is a holding zone for the most part, although in our case, somewhat unusual because parts of our zoning ordinance are old. You can put virtually anything in ag district besides ag. You can put houses and apartments and commercial and so forth and so on. In this case, the property owner wishes to put multifamily, which can be allowed in some cases anyway, but to change the zoning specifically to multifamily dwelling district. Again, the staff has recommended approval of this request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission has, I believe, again, unanimously recommended in favor as well.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is welcome to come forward and speak. If there's nobody wanting to speak for or against, the public hearing is now closed. The item is, any discussion on this item? Any council members, anyone? No. How does the council want to proceed? Does anyone want to make a motion to approve? I'll make a motion to approve. Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carries. Item number 13 is receive construction update from EST Inc. regarding construction management and inspection for the 2013 bond project.
EST, Rod, come on up. EST is the engineer that you had met once before, did a kind of a little performance audit for us. They've also been contracted with to provide construction management and other services on site. And so Rod Wallace will give you our first of our monthly reports on what's going on.
I will do my best. I've had laryngitis for the last 3 days.
Can you please speak in the mic?
Yes, sir. As City Manager said, my name is Rod Wallace with EST. Tonight we will give you a verbal report on what has gone on since we started. We met with John, the City Manager, Carla Easton, and Jerry McDaniels on May 16th to discuss the projects and how they would like to begin this inspection and construction management. We began inspection services the 17th. Red Irwin, it's out here. He is on the project every day as the inspector. We meet, or Red meets every morning in the construction management office and turns in reports from the day before. Did a cursory overview of all the projects the first week, and then since has been assigned pretty much strictly on over at Pine Bluff. Construction is coming along. We note Construction progress every day, men and equipment, the condition of the roadway, any potential claims that may come in. We look at each one of those. We check the signs. So far, things have started cleaning up, and for specific questions, Red would be glad to answer those. But overall, we're spending this first month getting the reporting down. We have pictures and daily reports that we turn in, and they'll be in the overall book. If I know exactly what you guys would like to have for your agenda, I'll be glad to provide you next month with a written report in any form that you'd like to have. So if you'll just, if those are the items that you're after, we'd be glad to put that in a written report and have it in your agenda where you can look at it before we come in front of you.
Anyone from the council has any comments? No. Personally, whatever is, I want to be sure that it is by whatever the contract was, and
Yes, sir.
those things are being followed. So I think if we can get a report with check marks that this was in the contract and this was done and this was in the contract and this was done, whether it's a soil test or whether it's whatever kind of testing is being done without getting too much technical into it.
Correct.
If we can get that update, which shows that all of those things are being done as the contract said, that is what I would prefer to have.
That'll be fine. We'll just give you an overview that you can look at, a summary of the projects and each project and what happens
Yeah,
on those.
and along with one other thing that was requested before was that timelines on when the contract was given, when the contract was started, what was the duration of the contract, what percentage work is done, what percentage of money is paid, and where do we stand with that contract as of the day you surveyed.
Okay. That'll be easy enough to provide you with every lot.
Thank you.
And I meet with, try to talk with Jerry at least a couple of times a week, so we're staying current with what your needs are there. Does anyone have any specific questions they'd like answered from the project? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Item number 14 is discuss and act on contract with Burkhoff, Hendricks and Carter LLC for engineering services on Texas Capital Fund Main Street project for construction of downtown sidewalk improvement. City engineer.
Good evening. This item is to authorize a contract with Burkhoff, Hendricks and Carter. They were the responsive engineering firm. We advertised for submittal for qualifications, and we received 5 firms, and they were ranked accordingly, and Burkhoff, Hendricks and Carter was the selected firm. They've submitted a proposal in the amount of $30,000 for the project, and we recommend authorizing this contract.
Ms. Drake, any questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Trinado?
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions.
Ms. Lancaster?
What portion of the sidewalk downtown will be done?
This will include the south side of Lamar Avenue from First Southeast to Main Street, and the west side of First Southwest from Kaufman to Austin. And those were the portions that were applied for in the grant last year.
Which group applies for that? Is it the city or?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. At that time, Sean Napier would have brought a request to you, and the council approved that application. The council has to approve the application by resolution, and that's submitted to the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Any particular criteria why that sidewalk over any other sidewalk?
I think because it's nearest to downtown and it's busted and in disrepair, I would guess that it's basically furthering the sidewalks closest to the downtown square.
I'd like to recommend on the next go-around that Bonham Street be considered.
Okay.
That's our, and that, you and I talked about that.
Yeah,
That's
we
that's
did.
next on, we're always a
Because
year behind where we're talking.
I
But it
realize.
is on the next, that
The
west
next
bottom is where
go-around,
we're at,
yeah,
right.
because I found when we did the first street, it brought more businesses.
Yeah, and that's it just takes forever when you do 1 or 2 blocks a year, but.
I know.
But, yeah, that's our plan to do that next time, so.
Okay,
Hopefully
good.
this time next year we'll be awarding a contract for that one.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one other question. What is the timeline? When will they start the project? When will they finish the project?
We are looking to be under construction by the end of this year, and it shouldn't take long. It's just 2 blocks of sidewalk.
And how long is the engineering time?
4 months.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 15 has already been covered. Item number 16 is,
Did y'all vote on that one?
No, we didn't.
oh, I'm sorry.
I make a motion, we authorize the city manager to extend a contract.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item 15 is covered. Item number 16, receive presentation and discuss operation plans, budget needs for public works, engineering, utilities, finance, including a public educational and governmental channel and public information program.
And so we will do 4 of these tonight, and 4 of them are scheduled for the 27th of June. And obviously, the Public Works Director is first. Jerry?
Yay.
Hello. Just kind of run through it. You've got the list there. I'm going to give you an update. The Lake Crew, of course, this is the budget, the items that don't necessarily make the budget, but things that have brought up through the year that we'd like to get done and things that in the future need to be done. The Lake Creek Road and bridge. The bridge does definitely need to be something done to it because it's got some washout on it. And in that discussion of the bridge, the road come up for an overlay on it. We've done some rough estimates on that from 271 to the water plant. The overlay on that, level up and overlay, rough estimate of like $650,000. So, and the bridge itself is $325,000 estimate to replace that. So that's, in the works and needs to be done at some point in time. And the next item I think is the drainage, which is a great big topic. Luckily we have the 1.8 that y'all have let us start working on. And I kind of want to just run through some of that. And this drainage kind of addresses the immediate problems. There's still more problems or work that needs to be done in the future, and a lot of your drainage work goes in conjunction with your streets. Paris has a lot of ditches. They have a lot of roads that have been built up to curb height. Your streets act as your drainage as well. So, going in and clearing ditches and creeks and stuff like that is great, but in long term, they need to be associated with a street project as well. So. There's budgets on that need to be considered in the future. I'd like to kind of give you a rundown of what we've kind of started with. Is this the time to do that? That we run down with the drainage so far. Starting the week of last month, on the 30th, when we kind of got to rolling. Our CIP group is actually working on a project at Ridgeview and Briarwood. It's between those areas. The storm drain was caved in, backing the water up. And if y'all happen to drive by there, you can see we've actually got some pictures. I don't think we've got them with us tonight, but we're actually replacing some drainage culvert, and it extends back over to 25th. A pretty good undertaking, but it's a good start, especially for that area, and that's the one we've got for it. We've got contractors that are working, and they're clearing and grubbing, and they're removing the trees, the trash, the tires. And right now, that's just what we have the contractors doing on separate ditches. One of them is 7th Northwest, Leon Williams Park, there at the east end. If you go back to the east, if you're on 7th Street in that ditch, you go back to the east, they've cleared all the way back to TxDOT building, back up through that way. They're also clearing now and going back to the west, which is going all the way back to Center Street. And I don't know if you got where I think they're at the track as of today. That's clearing and grubbing. Now, these projects just doesn't end with the clearing and grubbing. Okay, they're also we identify the old WPA ditches, the old concrete valleys in it, from erosions and what have you, and then just moving in. Those ditches are folding up. So we're even a WPA ditch was too small in the day. It's eroded, the banks, the concrete has folded up, so now you've even got a narrow channel. So those are being put on the list, for actual some reconstruction for those. But getting in, clearing, grubbing actually lets us identify a lot of the problems, see what's going on. We also have we sprayed 12 locations, and that's in the northeast and southeast parts of Paris, and that's for overgrowth that's just nearly impossible to even pass through. And what it does, we'll spray it. Time will lapse, the grass, the weeds, the poison ivy, all that stuff dies out. We're able then to follow through and come in with the clearing and grubbing on that. We've also got contractors On South Church, there's a bridge there behind on that waterway, kind of the Jamar construction area and that car wash. The bridge was undersized in the beginning. It's caused flooding, and you know, it's not only the creek, we're also getting a lot of the TxDOT water through there. So that's being reconstructed right now. If you drive by and see that, you'll see what's going on there. We took all those. It was just two 30-inch drainage pipes. We put in two, I believe it's 4x5 box culverts and 18-inch overflows on those. So that's ongoing and in process now. We have our Parks Department currently working in the 500 block of Austin to Jackson. That's 15 blocks of clearing and grubbing and clearing out the vegetation. Again, that identifies other projects within that. That's not just we go through, we clean it, and there's other things that need to be done, but it helps us get to where we need to go, and we'll come back on that. They're also working cleaning the ditches and taking the trash and the grubbing and clearing the vegetation at the 2700 block of Culberson. So we've got that going on, and then the 1000 block of Jackson north to Netherly, same thing. So we split up, and I've actually had to pull part of our parks crew off of part of the trail construction from Bonham to Boys and Girls Club. We're responsible for clearing and grubbing on that. But with the flooding issues, we've pulled that off. We haven't. The contractor has we'll still try to get in and get that done before the contractor can get in and get his started and going on that. The parks is also we shredded a lot of the northwest Paris roadsides, and you'll see Old Jefferson from 3rd to New Jefferson. The roadside has been shredded. It's not complete. Our boom mower is now. We've got a part order for that boom mower, so we can get the back slopes of the ditch as well. So, and looking at the drainage problem there at the church on Old Jefferson too. We know there's some problems there, so we're investigating that. And just all the 8th, Southeast, Jefferson to Jackson, 6th, Sycamore Southeast to 12th Southeast. So those are some of the projects we're working on. Our CIP group is doing which is the reconstruction part of these projects. We're moving on with them from when they get through at Ridgeview. We have it's 32nd Northeast that has a few houses that have flooded through there, and it's the back of that. I can't think of the name of the church there on Pine Bluff, but we've got a little project there. Take a few days. From that point, now we're hoping by the end of this week, it may be the first of next week, we'll be starting Buttermilk, Big Sandy Creek. Okay, we're going to start at the Y, and once we get the Y, the actually Y part, because you got to start downstream. That's where the water goes. So that's it's bad. I mean, we drove Tim and while we went out there, there's more trash in it than you'd believe, and that obstructs it. So anyway, they're going to start cleaning, grubbing. They'll take the dozer in, start there, and we're going to go back north from there. We're going to go back up Buttermilk to Clarksville. So that's going to be the first phase of this reconstruction. We'll take it up to Clarksville Street, and then that winds up there by the PD and the trail. So that gets that part. When we get to that point, we're going to stop, back up, go to the intersection at Big Sandy and Buttermilk, and then go back toward Old Jefferson, being 24th Street, and then on through Mr. Bray's property. We've identified as that ditch is in bad growth and causing a lot of that Old Jefferson area to flood. So anyway, I just kind of want to give you a quick update of what we're doing, and I know Ms. Drake had some questions about that. So I'll move on and get off of that. Our next one is we have a road maintainer that of course we've asked for in the future. We'd like to we just identify that it is. We have 2 old ones that we're having to do quite a bit of maintenance on, and at some point we'll have to replace that. Our garbage truck, we had estimated probably a 2-year replacement when the 70 cents a month was approved on each water bill. That puts about $5,600 a month into that fund. Right now, the funds that are in that is $110,591. So it's going to take about probably six more months to get the total amount, 6 to 7 more months. The price of the garbage truck is $150,000 roughly, a little bit less. But once we hit probably November, the dollars will be there, and then we can purchase that new truck. The parks and drainage employee, of course, you know, we are understaffed, and we hate to push that, but we are, and of course our duties have grown. We're doing more with less, and definitely need more help. So that's always a thought, and we'd like to see something happen there. Pool improvements, I think is the next one. And what it is we have cracking, some surface cracking going on in our pool. It's been happening for a while. Those cracks now are starting to splinter off and develop even more cracks. We got a rough estimate on tearing that out and resurfacing part of that, roughly $100,000. The pool is still equipped with this original old sand filter. Actually, this week we're out there putting welds on top of welds. We had 3 holes develop in it as the pool got up and rolling, and so just things to think about coming up. The next one is the parks plan and soccer and what have you in the West Paris. Of course, remind you of the parks master plan. You know that there was some dollars approved each year that we haven't been able to fund, which is understandable. Lake Crook, kind of give you a quick update on the Lake Crook Park. It is underway. The slides, the main structure of the playground area will be starting installed next week. We're hoping to have actually enough of it done. The mulching, the surfacing, and all that stuff will be done for the 4th of July weekend. There'll be a few parts of the park that won't, the little pieces that won't be there, but we'll have the park going. The porta potties are there. The fence has been built. I think there's some grills and tables that are on order now for some areas and that was part of that you know the dollars for that park out there. Some driveway approaches and RV deals and some electrical is ongoing as well on that. So we've been wanting to kind of get a soccer under John's direction and y'all's direction as well. Some soccer fields kind of back over in the west side of town. We've identified Heritage Park as a perfect place. It's not we're kind of considering and looking at the size of it. A non-regulation soccer field to let the kids come out and play, minimal level up. We've got some goals that we can put out there. And then actually we identified a place maybe you can put a basketball goal too. There's parking available. We have to mow and maintain that park anyway, so a perfect place to start, and we're looking for other options as well. So that kind of rounds my end up. If y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them.
Ms. Drake?
Yes, ma'am.
Not on this part. I might have some questions later on in the presentation.
Mr. Tornado?
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Ms. Lancaster?
I didn't hear, and it was probably in there, but I didn't hear anything addressed to the drainage we have running from downtown, the Culbertson Fountain, headed toward Washington. There's an old, it goes before the WPA even.
Right.
Which has flooded some homes and is in need of help.
Yeah, that hasn't hit our top priority list yet. Okay. We're going. You're talking about kind of runs behind Farmers Market there and
yeah,
through the old
right. But it did flood. It did flood 2 houses.
Yeah, it does. And Mr. Giles, I've met with him several times out there.
Right, and I think it ends somewhere behind Mike Fulmar's house.
Yes.
Excuse me, I've got a question.
Sure.
As you went by me. Jerry, have you looked at the York edition out there?
We have, and my bad. Last year we were going to go out. We actually did some shots for drainage flow. Of course, when it got dry, we got busy and didn't get it. We do have plans to go back through that. We're going to come in. Those homeowners that are having those problems,
yes, sir,
have agreed. We actually have a utility easement back there anyway, but some of the fences are they built across those. They understand and agree to those fences will have to be removed, and we're going to create, and it'll actually we'll turn that water back to 3rd Street to the old TxDOT ditch there and back around, and then the flume on York Street itself that goes back, cuts and goes through Mr. Hill's property back to the ditch. he's going to allow us to come in there, and we're going to widen that as well. So it is on the works.
Thank you, sir.
Jerry, I have a few questions. Let's start one by one on this. First of all, the Lake Crook, are we within the budget?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, and you are saying most of it would be finished around 4th of July?
Yes.
When will it be finally completely ready?
There's some parts of the playground equipment that was out like 3 or 4 more weeks. So you know, if we hit the July, we're hoping to be completed at the end of this month, being open for the 4th of July so they can play on it and stuff. So by end of July, it should be complete.
Okay, number 2, as far as drainage is concerned, we had made some approvals of finances for that. Where do we stand with the engineering contract on that?
Got a meeting,
Wednesday.
Carl knows more about that.
Yes, please.
We have an engineer coming to town on Wednesday to discuss drainage opportunities for an overall project.
Okay.
Again, that sort of project, an engineered project, is going to cost a lot of money and may eat up a good piece of that $1.8 million. So I'm not sure if we get a project engineered that we would be able to move forward to construction.
Can that project, I mean, I know what the engineering has to be done, but can it be, if we are short on funds, can the engineering project be divided into small sections so that the project can get started?
Certainly, I think we could outline sort of a master plan for a specific reach. One of the areas that Jerry and I had looked at last week, sorry, I'm not sure, was 17th Street Southeast between Lamar and Clarksville. That's sort of the upper end of that reach. Our CIP crews are going to be doing a lot of the clearing downstream of that with the improvements that they're doing right now. So once they get downstream cleaned out and we can kind of move upstream, I think that's a good location for a project. It was also identified in the past master plans that were done in 1992 and then as well in 2013. So those are projects that have been on the books that have not been completed, and I think it would be a good candidate for an engineering project. And another would be there's a reach of Big Sandy Creek that goes up along 6th, 8th, and 12th Streets. It kind of forks downtown and then it drains towards Big Sandy. So that would be another opportunity. But those are, the first of those is a $1 million project, and the second is a $2.2 million contract.
Okay.
So again, the engineering projects are going to be more costly.
Okay, and we are keeping in mind the requests of all the people, particularly those whose homes were flooded.
Actually, we are. We did a tally on the calls and the flooding areas that we've had. Public Works has received, I believe it was since May 5th to current to date. We have 241 calls of flooding and water flowing. So that kind of gives you all an idea of
the magnitude of the problem.
The magnitude and the different directions that that we're headed and the switching of gears when it rains and just different things like that.
Okay. The third question is the road maintainer. You've said, what is the cost of the road maintainer?
I believe it was 100 and I've got it written down here. 170,000.
Okay. The next, I'm going to skip parks and drainage temporarily to the garbage truck. Garbage truck, you said, is about 150,000, but it would be funded, so we really don't need to worry about it right now.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Cost of pool improvements that you've discussed, roundabout costs for that?
Roughly 130,000. That's being the sand filter, the pump, and the resurfacing of the pool.
Okay. While we are at parks plan, at some point at the, what is it, west entrance of the town, there was a park identified, or there was a small area that close to the trailer park?
The old TxDOT
yes,
roadside park.
Yes. We had allocated funds for that and, seating and some things for that. Did that get done or not yet?
I thought everything that was supposed to be done was done back about 2 or 3 years ago, but I could be wrong. That was kind of in the process when I first came to town.
Okay. Can we look into it? Because I still don't recall whether that project got completed or not.
Okay.
Dr. Hoshman, also you're talking about entries into town. I've got a commitment from one of the engineering firms that we're currently using on the water bond projects to do a free gratis type landscape design kind of coming in from the south part of town, so maybe we can get something done.
And the last question that I have is with reference to what Ms. Christian had mentioned too, as far as the Church Street entrance. we should remember for some allocation or more allocation for funds for roads, in particular entryways into town when we are talking about the next budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else has any questions?
Thanks.
Next is engineering.
Good evening. The Engineering and Community Development team will be working to develop and adopt several code updates and plans that will help the city and development community. The first of these is our ADA transition plan. Transition plans are required as part of the Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So staff has been working to develop our plan, which will include, or has included, a self-evaluation of all city programs, services, and facilities, and then also a timeline for bringing all of the deficiencies, anything that's not currently compliant, into compliance over the next 20 or 30 years. The plan is in its final draft stages. It's currently being reviewed, and we hope to finalize that plan in the upcoming months. Staff is requesting $15,000 annually for projects that will improve accessibility for all city programs. These could be in the form of assisted hearing devices for City Hall, or push-button entrances for city facilities, or sidewalk improvements and curb ramp removal, or curb ramp installation. Next, we are hoping to adopt a international property maintenance code that would allow, basically, it regulates the minimum maintenance requirements for existing structures and would put the ownership or responsibility for property maintenance on the property owners and tenants with respect to the all equipment is on the property: lighting, ventilation, HVAC, sanitation, and fire safety. Basically, it holds the owners responsible for maintaining their own properties. And so by adopting that code, city would have more enforcement opportunity to promote code compliance in the city. Other codes that we are currently operating under the International Business Code from 2006. We are proposing to update to the 2012 building code this year. It's industry standard, generally speaking. This will not be a huge change for the development community, but it will be something that staff will need to purchase reference materials and be educated for the code updates. Engineering is working to develop construction standard details that will make infrastructure construction, I guess, more uniform across the city for both public projects and city and private projects. We have water and sewer details currently that are being reviewed in the engineering department. We plan to send those to Public Works. We'd also like to add erosion control details and paving details and drainage details. So all of those will be packaged into one set for the public to use. Once we finish those, we'll add them to our website and make them available to engineers and contractors. We are looking at developing a couple of new permits and updating our permit fees. The first permit would be a development permit, which would essentially allow for inspection of all public infrastructure associated with private development prior to issuing the building permit. Currently, we operate under a building permit, but this would basically be a whole site improvement permit, and it's easier to track, better for the city and the developer to track inspections and requests in that way. The second new permit we're proposing would be a right-of-way permit, which would work with franchise utilities that are building infrastructure within our public right-of-way, and it would allow city inspections of those facilities. And then as a part of that, we would like to compare our current fee schedule with other surrounding cities and make sure that we are consistent. We want to be competitive with other cities and not be too high in our fees, but also make sure that we are covering the cost of the permits and the inspections that city staff has to complete. Staff is currently meeting every other week to do comprehensive reviews of all zoning and plating submittals and then engineering submittals. The committee is made up of myself and the planning manager, public works director, and then engineering planning staff, as well as the fire marshal, and it allows us to all sit around a table and do a comprehensive review of all submittals and it really opens the line of communication between departments. We feel that it's working really well, and we want to continue that. And then last but not least, we have a project with TxDOT Aviation Division for an expansion at the Cox Field for an airport hangar. And that's a $1.1 million project, and it's 90% funded by TxDOT Aviation, so the city's matching funds would be $111,000, sorry. And that's what I have.
Ms.
Any
Ray?
questions?
I just have, you said something when you were talking about the codes being updated and for future building and stuff, that it would look at drainage and everything. So do you think that upgrading that will help future projects that we may not see the flooding when we have future building?
Well, I certainly hope so. I think the development packet and development permit will also help with that.
Okay.
If we can set out our standards, our standard details will help. We can come up with site layouts that basically guide the engineering so that the engineers know whenever they submit it to us, this is what it's supposed to look like, and then we can also double check for drainage and all of those things. I think it's a part of the whole packet.
Okay.
Mr. Tritano?
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins? Ms. Lancaster? I have a few questions.
Okay.
First, as far as this billing code, the codes are concerned, weren't there codes which allowed in the past or disallowed people from building one home higher than others? Is this something different? Are you bringing something else? Because there are drainage problems in certain areas where somebody has built a house much higher than the other person, with the result that this house keeps getting flooded. Do we not have codes for that currently, or are these codes going to be added for future, or what happens?
I don't believe that the code speaks specifically to that. The lot drainage, there should be ordinances that allow for lot-to-lot drainage so that the properties drain to the street and they can get in the storm drain or go down the ditch. It's not going to be in the building codes that I mentioned, but that is more of as an engineer lays out a subdivision. They're responsible to make sure that all properties drain as they should and not flood the neighboring home. I can't speak to how things were done previously, but at this point, that I don't think our code is where that would be, but that is more of a review, a design and review aspect of.
But eventually the design and review comes to the city, right?
Yes, sir.
And do we have any control over it? Can we tell people that no, you are too high or too low, or you have to bring this up to a certain level so that your house doesn't get flooded or somebody else's house doesn't get flooded?
Yes, sir. We can certainly comment on that if we catch it in the design and the information is provided appropriately from the engineers.
Yeah, that kind of goes to one of the comments you made earlier about this new fee and review that they want to do, so they look at the entire property. Historically, Paris has had to have it up because we didn't want to be, I think, and I wasn't here, but I think didn't want to be too onerous, too expensive. So they wanted to build a house or build a church or build a barn. As long as they got the building permit, we just let them build it, thinking that was, pro-business, pro-whatever. The problem is once all that stuff gets built and you get a bunch of rain, they flood each other. And, you and I have been out several places and they're like this. And it's embarrassing because, honestly, we never should have let that happen. And so that's part of one of the things she's charged with in her new job is to change the processes, and she's started that process. So that we look at the entire property, and not just that property, but the neighboring properties and what it does. So we'll stop doing this in the future. So it will get better. It'll take time, but it will get better.
So it is not part of a code per se, but we'll have some ordinances?
Absolutely.
So that this doesn't happen again?
Yes, sir.
And it should be standard engineering practice whenever these professionals are designing a lot to accommodate that, but they have to give us the information to catch it. So if we can do a development packet that has a bigger picture, I think it would allow us to do that better.
Ms. Mosley, you want to say something? Is that why you're raising your hand?
Yes. What about what's already happened to you? I've already spent $20,000 of my own money. The city came out to half what they should have done. They didn't finish it. And I'm still putting lateral lines in because the house next to me got permits, but it was never inspected. And that's my problem with Paris, is you get permits, you pay permits, but then no one's out there inspecting.
Hope. Yeah.
In Paris, Texas, and I have paid a lot of money and will continue paying more money because of the flooding. We had more rain than we ever had. But $20,000
So hopefully in future at least we can fix that. Now my next question to you is, currently the fees that you're talking about, permitting fees, how are they calculated? Are they calculated based on the time that the city staff spends, or what is the calculation based off?
It's generally a flat fee. It's a fee, they come in and they pay their
But how
permit
did we
fee.
come up with that flat fee is the question.
I do not know. I think they have been in place for a very long time.
They've been in place for more than 4 years, I know. And the problem is, typically you want your permit fees to recoup your cost. And so we might spend $185 of personnel time to do an inspection, and the permit fee is only $50. So we're not charging as much as it costs us to provide the service. And that's where we need to come back and try to recoup our cost.
Okay. The next question that I have is the airport hangar that you were talking about, which is the $1.1 million grant and 111,000. Tell me a little bit more about it. What is,
At this time,
how does the city benefit from it?
Let me answer that.
Yes, go ahead.
Because she just got that project a few weeks ago. The fact is, we have a long waiting list for hangar space. TxDOT, through the FAA, provides grants to municipalities like ours that have a general aviation airport. And we're allotted about $150,000 a year, and so we're allowed to accumulate that over years. This is in addition to ramp maintenance funds, which we won't talk about, but so we've got money built up for that purpose. 2 years ago, we applied for a 2016 grant. It was awarded. The design has not been done yet, so it's kind of a matter of how it's built and how it's designed, what type of hangars. It might be 6, it might be 10, but something in that number of hangar spaces.
I understand all of that. That's not my question.
Okay.
My question is, okay, we got the grant, we built the hangars, but the city spent $116,000 on it. My question to you is, how do we recover those $116,000? Is it $10 a month that we recover over the next 100 years, or I mean?
Yeah, 2 ways, hopefully 2 ways. One way is that you do collect rents, and those rents over time should, of course, you guys just adopted, or some of you did, adopted a new updated basic rent agreement back 3-4 months ago, and that'll improve a lot of that. Airport Advisory Board was involved in that, make some recommendations to make that process a lot better, so that you should be able to recoup your cost. The longer term thing, which we hope, and in fact there's a group that Ms. Lancaster's on and some other folks are on, is you get more trips out there, you get more landings, you get more planes, you get more activity, you can get economic development. The airport should be an economic development driver for Paris. It has not been in the past, so that's one of our huge high priorities. And the chamber, the EDC, the city council, and then also Ms. Spencer's here, the Airport Advisory Board are working together. Just had 1 meeting so far, so that's the longer term.
So in other words, it is not just that we will recover the money from the rent, but the purpose of spending that $110,000 is bringing up more economic
Absolutely.
development and get a return in that form.
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
And Doug Harris is always here with
Short presentation?
short presentations, shorter than the first 2.
Very, very short presentation. And the main point that I want to make, all of the capital improvement projects that you see in your packet, these are all being funded by the same budget amounts that we have in the 15-16 budget. So there is no increase for the 16-17 budget for any of the capital improvement projects that you see. Now, I want to back that up by stating that in Department 82, water production, we see a mandatory increase from the United States Army Corps of Engineers. It's their annual operations and maintenance fee. We don't have any way around that, and that has doubled from this year's budget to next year. So you will see an $83,000 increase for the operating budget, not for the capital improvement budget. So that being said, I'll go through each division of utilities and show you how we're going to repurpose that money. And this is based on priorities that we have developed through observation and through discussions with staff in-house. So
I'm going to ask one quick question first.
Sure.
Did I miss something in the agenda? Because I did not see any CIP projects listed. I saw this description, but I did not have any detailed CIP project thing?
That is, Dr. Hashmi, that is just terminology I'm using.
Okay.
These items that are in here are broken down into our operating budget by a different account extension on there, and that's just my terminology I'm using.
Okay,
They're
but it's
actually-
not that we have missed something in the agenda.
No, sir.
There
Not
was
at all.
nothing else beside what is written here. Okay.
Not at all, sir. Okay. All right, so for water production, again, we're using the same amount of funding as we have in this year's budget. 50,000 of that amount is going to be replacement of the filter gallery, the basement flooring. 60,000 will be used to replace 2 transfer pump valves down in the basement as well. $100,000 we're requesting for surface recoating of 2 storage tanks at the water treatment plant. One of those is a 2 million gallon clear well. The other is a 500,000 gallon backwash tower. The surfaces on both those, we have gone through the process this year of cleaning the exterior, but once we do that, that's going to need a clear coat back on top of those tanks, and that's what that money is for. $120,000 we've requested to rebuild one of the pumps at our ground storage facility. We also intend to use that funding for rebuilding 2 of the sludge transfer pumps at the water treatment plant, and also for replacement of 1 filter surface water wash there, and that is all for water production, Department 82. Moving on to wastewater treatment, Department 86. We have $320,000 in the budget this year. That was intended for a master plan, if you will, for a comprehensive wastewater treatment plant improvement. We have since reconsidered that, and we are going to segment individual components of the wastewater system. And we're actually working on an engineering services contract this year to get engineering for a bar screen facility at our flow equalization basin. So we intend to use as much of that $320,000 in this year's budget as possible, but we're also requesting that same amount in the 16-17 budget, and that will be specifically for a bar screen facility at our flow basin. And lastly, Department 87 lift stations. Again, same amount of money as we have this year, but the $59,000 that we're requesting for these projects will be to rebuild pumps at Campbell's and Woodard's lift stations, and rebuild pumps and replace the valves at our flow equalization basin. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
Mr. Trinali? Mr. Jenkins?
No questions.
Ms. Lancaster? And so all these items that you've put this time are already funded items. There's no new funding required for that.
No increase in budget request.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
And Gene is going to have a lot more money this year.
The manager asked me to kind of focus on the City Hall building and what we've been trying to do with it for the last few years. The building was built in 1920, so it's 96 years old as of this year. And as true with all old buildings, it does need maintenance periodically from time to time. It is structurally sound, but it kind of needs a little facelift, and we've been working on that for a few years now. And the manager wanted me to make you aware of that if you didn't know that. Up until we started working on it back in 2005, there hadn't been any significant renovation or maintenance work done on the building since the mid-70s. And the first renovation that was done is the area that we're in now in 2005. This part of the old fire station was renovated so that we could have a ground floor council room. Previously, it had been on the top floor, and that was an ADA issue for us. So that was done first. In 2011, we did a cosmetic facelift to the entryway of City Hall off of First Street. That's a picture of it there. If you don't remember what it looked like before, it had a carpet there that had been there for over a decade. It had the walls were peeling from the wallpaper that was on there. It just looked really horrible. And so we received a lot of favorable comment when we redid this in 2011. That was followed by a renovation of the third floor where the old council room was. And we turned that into office space for the city manager, the HR director, the city planner, and also put an office there where the mayor could meet with people. And currently also the fire marshal is located in that area. I would like to point out in that particular picture there, everything that we've been doing on the renovation, we're trying to make it as maintenance free as possible because we know we won't have enough opportunity to do other renovation for a while. The flooring there is vinyl plank flooring of a commercial grade. It'll be there for many, many years. It's designed to hold up to heavy traffic, which we don't really have super heavy traffic anyway. We have done away in the area that we've redone a lot of the drop ceiling that was put in, and we've gone back to the tin ceiling just like you find here in the council room. And it's virtually maintenance free except that periodically it would have to be repainted. Though this was painted in 2005, it looks just like it did in 2005. So we're trying to do things that are maintenance free or nearly maintenance free. The next thing we did, the council awarded us a bid for phase 1 of our window replacement project. This was on the east side of the building, the city, what we call the city hall portion of it. That's just one of the windows. Previously with the drop ceilings, the top couple of panes there on the old windows that were replaced were blacked out because of the drop ceiling fell down. When we went back to the tin ceilings and replaced those windows so we have the full size windows again. Those look just like the original windows. The outside of those windows though are coated with PVC. So they are maintenance free. They're going to look just like that 50 years from now, so we won't ever have to paint them or do anything with them. Again, we're trying to think long term on that. We replaced, I believe it was 38 windows on the east side of the building at that point. We also, when we did that, we had to do some cosmetic upgrades to the offices that were affected by those window change out. That was done in the finance office, the fire chief's office, and in the basement area. That's a picture of the finance office. Basically what we did there, we went back to the tin ceiling, as you can see. We put the vinyl planking on the floor, and so we should be good for a long time. Just occasionally touch up on the paint. That's the conference room off the fire chief's office. Again, the same approach, low maintenance. Tin ceiling and the vinyl plank flooring. That's the basement office, which is also used by the finance office. The only thing we did different there, that flooring, is the concrete floor that was there. We've never been able to get any kind of flooring to stick to that concrete and stay down because of moisture seepage. So we worked on water sealing that, but we've also, instead of putting down any kind of flooring, we just stained that concrete. We think it looks good, and it'll be there and it'll look like that for many, many years. If it gets dull, we can always just put another coat of the stain on it. Y'all approved a few months ago roof replacement for this building and 2 annexes. This is a picture you've seen before of the city hall roof and the damage and stuff that was on there. This is what that same roof looks like now. And so they did a very, very nice job of that. And we were sort of forced to do that ahead of schedule because of all the heavy rain we got, and we had water running down the walls in everybody's office on the 3rd floor, including the manager, and he didn't particularly like that. So we got that done. There's been a lot accomplished in kind of bringing the City Hall building back into shape. There's also some additional work that needs to be done. We'd like to do a phase 2 of the window replacement project, which would be this half of the building. Went around and took some pictures exterior around different windows. The windows on this half of the building are the original windows, some of those are beginning, have not been maintained and they're beginning to rot out. And I've got several pictures there that kind of shows the damage that's been caused. We redid the front of the council room. When we did this in 2005, we've had to repair it already several occasions because it was done with the wood finish like it was originally done. And the way the water drains off the building, it just keeps rotting it out. I've had to do quite a bit of maintenance on not just the windows, I haven't done anything to the windows, but the front of the building and the doors we've always had to do. We also have the interior of this side of the building. This is a picture of the dorm area of the old fire department, which is located directly above the council room here. You see those 4 big windows there in that area. There's also a couple of more further down and around the corner here. Those windows, to fix them either back to where they were originally, maintain those, or to replace them with windows like we replaced the other side with, are about $5,000 a window. So they're very expensive to maintain. The other office areas, and this happens to be the old shower area of the fire department, are just in rundown shape. Will eventually need some work done on them. That's an interior shot of one of these windows here in the area above us. You can see the kind of bad shape it's in. There are other maintenance things that need to be done in that area. There's an example there. The area upstairs does have the tin ceilings. The paint is flaked off in the years that the fire department has been gone, but the tin itself is in good shape. It just needs to be painted. I wanted to show you this. This is the stairway that comes down over here on this side that I would also like to do repair to. Particularly the stairs here are pretty rickety, but it would provide us a second fire exit to those located on the 3rd floor. Currently, if we have a fire anywhere up there now, they've got to come down the main front stairs. And if they're cut off in that area, then they're cut off. And do a little maintenance on that stairwell there. It leads down, turns and leads down to this door here that exits right over here. It would give them a second way out of the building. There are some exterior things that long-term we need to do. This is a shot of the front of City Hall. It's hard to tell, but if you look at kind of very top up there, there's about a 10-inch border where there used to be a ledge, but it was replaced and just plastered over at some time way in the past. But that border area has begun to crack and begin to fall off. And some of the pieces falling off are big enough to hit you in the head. They're going to hurt you. So we do have some exterior maintenance that we would like to do at some point. And there's another example of some exterior work that needs to be done, as is that. So I just wanted to make you aware we've made a lot of progress, and there's more stuff to do. What we've done so far, we've been able to do with some of the bond money that was originally issued to renovate this part of the building that was left over. We've also used grant money to accomplish the rest of it. And that sort of leads us into the other part of our presentation that has to do with that public education and governmental access channel, the PEG channel that we talked about a couple of times in the past. If we decide to do that and utilize the area, say, upstairs from where we're at now, that would open up, that PEG channel would open up some funding that would allow us to do a significant amount of the renovation that we still need to be able to do, because we'd be renovating it for that purpose. I don't know that I've done the best job in the world in kind of explaining the advantages of the PEG channel. So I've asked John McFadden, who's the Public Information Coordinator for the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas, who also does the recording of our council members, to come and give a very brief presentation about the PEG channel and try to answer any questions that you might have about that.
I'm sorry. Before we start with that, I want to say one thing, and that is, I mean, I understand the city regular maintenance is required, and I understand the fact that things need to be maintained, and I like good things. However, I have a very hard time, quite honestly, thinking about spending money on the city hall. It may not be the best condition, and regular maintenance is required, but I think I have a very hard time spending any money on it when we have a lot of people's homes which are flooding.
And I understand that, Dr. Hoshby, and that's, I probably didn't make myself clear either. We've been able to do this without using tax dollars through grant money that we've been able to get through the Texas Historical Society, some of that leftover bond money that couldn't be spent for any other purpose. And one of the reasons that we tied this to this PEG channel is that's also money that we've already collected. And it wouldn't require any sort of tax use increase or anything like that. And it can't be spent on anything else. And if it can't be spent on anything else, you know, I would like to use it in a way that serves two purposes, that would provide what we could use in terms of the public information, but also do the maintenance on the building, because we can't spend it for anything else. It'll just sit there if we don't use it for that.
Mr. Tornado, go ahead.
Yes, your next item about public information director. How many times has this come up before the council? Is this the third time?
This will be the third time. Mm-hmm.
Well, hasn't it been rejected twice?
Well, every time we've met about it before, there have been some additional questions asked that we had to go back and research, and we're trying to answer that. You know, hopefully this will be the last time it comes up, and council will either do it or not do it.
I hope it's the last time, because we need more, $60,000 or whatever. I bet Gene could use that for some employees to help clean these ditches out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, this is a waste of money. And I spoke at one of the council meetings about it. Mr. McFadden showed me his presentation, great presentation, but it didn't change my mind at all. You know, and if y'all want to see it, fine, but
Whatever the council decides is fine with me. Ms. Drake?
Okay, you're saying that it's not going to cost the city any money.
The city collects a 1% franchise fee for this particular program.
Right.
That's all it can be used for. And we've been collecting it for a number of years now.
So how much money do we have put aside?
There's $368,000 there.
But
who authorized this to take the money?
This was authorized years ago as part of the Sudden Link franchise.
So Sudden Link is the one
it's
that-
collected by Sudden Link
Right.
on the bill. It's a 1%.
and just to be clear, for the new council members, since it was talked about last time, Mr. Toronto was here, when you say it doesn't cost any, he's talking about the equipment and all that stuff. The 60,000 or whatever it is Mr. Toronto's talking about, no, that is general
Right.
fund money, so.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't clear on
Yeah,
that.
but as I mentioned before, and what we would propose, that we think that we can get, raise money from new revenue sources through sponsorships or advertising.
But what happens if that doesn't happen?
Well,
Then we're caught with the money.
then we just shut the program down.
Yeah, but we've lost money and, 8 hours a day.
Well, that's the minimum that you have
Okay,
to
that's
do.
the minimum. We've got to have that, that's a lot of time and effort and money that I don't think we should spend it on. And that's just the way I feel about it.
Ms. Drake, any other questions on that?
That answered my question I had.
Mr. Jenkins?
Well, I'm pretty well what Tornado was saying. I mean, I don't know why we need it, and it's just sitting there if we don't use it. So, I mean, I really don't have no good feeling about it. I'd rather use it for people's calling me every day about drainage and ditches, and I don't know. It's nothing I want looking into.
Ms. Lancaster?
I'm not in favor of it at this moment.
I'm going to go along with what everyone feels.
Well, it might be a good program, and I too have met with John and saw the program, and I was impressed with it. And it might be a good thing in the future. I just don't think it is this particular year because of all of the other issues that we've got right now. And I'm like, Mr. Jenkins, I get phone calls, I get emails, I get letters in the mail, people coming to my door every day about needing help. Just everyday life of getting back into their homes and this not happening again. And I think it would be a great thing for Paris. I just don't think it is right now.
Can that money be utilized in any way or form without spending any city money?
No, it can only be used for capital things related to a PEG channel.
Right.
Other than that, it can't be used legally for anything else.
Okay, and so is there a chance that an unmanned channel can be done?
Well, I mean, you could buy equipment to set up, you know, to like record council meetings, for example. that was
And can
unmanned.
you just play those council meetings? I mean, would that suffice?
It would buy that equipment, but you couldn't do any other renovation with it because you wouldn't need to do any other renovation just to do that. You've got to justify the renovation, and you can't do it with an automated system.
So what do you want, if none of you are interested, do you want to hear the presentation further, or what do you want to do?
Drop it.
Yeah.
Could I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Would the city be able to partner with someone who already does this, an existing video production studio, to maybe, I don't know, partner with them and offset the cost, or is that not allowed? Because I know that we do have a fantastic studio in town.
Or is that possible that we do the renovations and have an outside source spend the money for that? For whatever video programming or et cetera is?
That's a question I have to research. I don't know of any other case where it's done that way, that the city doesn't either have the employees or maybe in some cases have a contract employee that answers to them. I've not seen any partnerships with a third party in that manner.
I'm going to ask, does the council want to look into it, or you're relatively all set in your mind that you don't want it at this point?
I'm setting my mind because we need more, excuse me, more employees or something else. Because right now, our flooding, that's our big issue. I think we need to have any extra money, we need to put it toward that.
You're shaking your head, so I take it you're concurring?
Like I said, I think it would be great in the future, just not right now.
Mr. Jenkins?
I agree.
Same with you? I guess you have the answer on this one. Okay. All right, what is the next one? I think that's it for this one.
Correct, that's it for that agenda item, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, item number 17. Receive update of cleanup ditches that were in the areas of recent flooded areas, including a timeline present for when trash, brush, dirt removed from the current ditches and detailed plan.
And I had requested that again. When we talked about it last council meeting, it was sort of, you gave the specifics on the details of, what was it, 6 areas that you were looking at that he just talked about?
Right.
But I think people are wanting to know, I know that you said, and I know long-term immediate clean out is not going to help the overall problem in the future, but it would be a starting point. And so what I was wanting is for us to do a detailed, and I know weather is going to be a factor. So just like, Jerry said, we're going to start next week, at the end of this week, first part of next week, on Buttermilk Creek, pertaining, of course, to the weather, and everybody understands that. But what I would like to see, just myself personally, and I don't know how the rest of the council feels about it, are the existing ditches that are already in place, to have a timeline. And I don't know where, we also talked last time about trying to get some volunteers, the probation department or something, to help with the clean out of the existing ditches. Where do we stand on that? And to have, and I'm not talking about just my district, of course, I look out for my people, but the city as a whole, to have a more detailed plan. Okay, the weeks of July the 3rd through the 17th, we're going to clean out the ditches on 26 Southeast from Hubbard to Clarksville. And so that the people whose homes have been affected know that we're going to be in that area, we're going to be cleaning, we're going to be repairing the fences. This is what I'm wanting to know, if there's a way we can do that. I know that you said that y'all were over on the 2700 block of Culbertson this past week. I know I've got something that belongs to y'all, by the way, in my garage that was left. I'll bring it to you. And they worked for a while, but then you couldn't see very much that had been done. And so, I'm just very concerned.
So you're wanting an actual timetable?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And that's just my request personally. I don't know how the rest of the council,
I think it's
but
a
I
very
feel
good
like
idea.
I owe that to the people that have been flooded out over there and just, you
Yeah, I
still
think
drive
that will
by
give-
and it still looks like it did almost then. Yeah, the tires have been removed, the tailgate's been removed, but the trees haven't, the dirt hasn't, the trash cans haven't.
It gives some end in sight.
Yes, and I think that's what a lot of the people right now, yes, like Betty, your ditch needs to be widened, I agree, but that's long term. But if we could just get that ditch cleaned out back behind your house so that if you walk behind her house, her yard's gone. Her fence is just hanging. So that's just what I'm interested in, if that could be a possibility.
Sure, and not to start weaseling before we even start, but as you know, you and I talked about it briefly right before the meeting, it's hard to be real predictive, and so we just always hate to say we're going to be there, like you said, between the third and the 17th,
Well, right.
and then something happens and our guys don't show up at all, and then they think we're just goofing off.
No, but we can make it barring unforeseen.
Yeah, it's
just make a
it's just hard to predict because it's not work we normally do. But sure, we'll bring a schedule back to the next meeting. We've got some other things we need to have you approve at the next meeting anyway. And we'll have a report back about the engineering meeting that we have this Wednesday. So yeah, absolutely, we'll do that. And we're still kind of organized. Although, I know we talked to Ms. Lancaster last week. They made a lot of progress on 7th Street. She was real pleased with that. And so, 7th Northwest, opposite corner of town. And so, yeah, I think that's certainly a reasonable thing. People kind of need to at least have some notion.
Yeah, and I do want to say, I appreciate, because I emailed Jerry a couple of locations of trash that had been put to the curb, and I emailed him that morning, and it was gone by that afternoon, so I really, really appreciate that. I know they're out there doing as much as they can, but, I would just sort of like to.
Sure.
I just feel like we need to keep it on the front burner right now.
Right, okay.
All of you feel the same way? Any other comments?
Yes.
Sure. With reference to this item?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I live again over on Old Jefferson Road, and I wanted to thank Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Donato for the interest that they've shown over there. Meeting before last, when we came and addressed this problem over there, Mr. Jenkins came over that very afternoon and looked over. We've met with Mr. Donato several times a week, discussing the problems over there. And I also want to thank Mr. Godwin for coming over after the last meeting. We made an appointment for him, and we went up and down the street gathering up the different residents from there, and they all met with Mr. Godwin, and he looked through and talked. At that time, he addressed the problem and said that on the short term, he agreed we had to get that area cleaned out, those ditches. Since then, we've had one resident that has completely had to desert his home. He is relocated completely out of the area because his home is no longer habitable. That's Mr. Thornton over on the north side of Old Jefferson Road. Mr. Godwin told us at that time, and again, we appreciate his efforts, that on the short term, they would clean out those ditches, but that there had to be a long-term plan. We still don't know, of course, what that long-term plan is. But we just want to, as the residents there, Ms. Cooper is here from the same street area. She's on the north side. She was flooded. Our ditch fills up. We just want to continue to express our concerns about not only the short term, but especially the long term that Mr. Donato has seen over there that's a problem, Mr. Godwin has seen as a problem, Mr. Jenkins. We don't want to let this go. We've got to do something on the long term as well as the short term.
We as a council are making a conscious effort to appropriate funds as we did in the previous meeting. But so there'll be a very conscious effort, just like we made a conscious effort on the infrastructure with water and sewer lines. We are going to make a very conscious effort to fix these issues. Yes, sir.
So we appreciate that, we appreciate the council members, but we don't want to let this go.
No, we'll keep on it.
Yeah.
I'm Lena Cooper from Old Jefferson Road, and I appreciate y'all coming out and everything, but I have to come back to Mr. Jean. They did attempt to come out one day last week to do the shrubbles and everything, and when they got ready to dig, the equipment went out. So, you know, when they are trying to do an effort, that all the equipment break down, I mean, they had a big crew out there, you know what I'm saying? So they was left with weed eaters, trying to cut and trying to do what they can. So I'm back with him. There's a big issue about the equipment to put that on the agenda because they did come out to try to make an effort. I went out to see that they needed any drinks and everything because I was gonna set up on them, but equipment went out.
In situations like this where, crew has already been allotted to do certain things, can we not rent equipment?
That's what we're doing. We're in the process of doing that. We'll have some stuff coming in this week, and late this week or early next week, we'll have some additional equipment, so.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Hoshman, I just want to kind of present to the council as well. I mean, I feel like I'm a part of this just as anybody else. I was affected in my business, $60,000 of damage in county from everything that's come up south of 24th that crossed over Lamar into my business, and I was 360 degrees in water. What I would like to is, as I hear there's a need for cleanup, you may be aware, and I remember that when we had the ice storm a few years ago, members of my church, and not only here in this area, but around the Shining area from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, organized a group to come through and help with some of the cleanup. Just coincidental that I'm hearing tonight, as I'm sitting here listening, there may be a need for more volunteer opportunities, and if there is, I would love to be the person that relates that back to the members of our church and help again organize an effort. We had 150, I believe, if I remember, a huge cleanup crew that came.
Yeah, it made a big difference. It was a great bunch.
So if there is a need, if the council is petitioning and asking for that, I would happily be the point man, so to speak, in helping facilitate that as needed.
Can we look into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure will.
And I know there's some churches here locally that would be interested in helping. It just needs to get organized.
Yeah, it's kind of a different type of cleanup, but there still may be opportunities. We'll talk about that in the morning, Jerry. Thank you.
We'll get back to you.
And he's got a horrible mess too. He's not exaggerating.
No, he does. He does.
I'm sure I'll be talking with Mr. Godwin, but we can talk.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Next item is item number 18, convene into executive session pursuant to 551.071 of Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney to receive legal advice from city attorney about pending or contemplated litigation and or matters in which the duty of the attorney to his client under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter as follows. DBA Tri-State Iron and Metal versus City of Paris. The time is 7:04 p.m. and we're going to go into executive session. Thank you. Now is 7:09 p.m. We are out of the executive session. The city attorney gave advice to the council on matter of versus the City of Paris. I move settlement of the Glick versus City of Paris lawsuit, subject to the city attorney working out